Welcome to Autism Knows No Borders. Discover what's possible when people impacted by autism inspire change and build community. Together with the Global Autism Project, here's your host, Rachel Harmon.
Hello, everyone. Today's episode is part 2 of Team Saudi Arabia's SkillCorps journey. If you haven't yet listened to part 1, I encourage you to go back to episode 100 so that you can hear about the first half of the team's trip. If you have any personal or professional connection with autism, that is, if you're a self-advocate, teacher, therapist, or another type of service provider, these 2 special episodes are meant for you. Today, you'll hear excerpts from conversations about clinical training at our partner site, Namaee, the Namaee therapists sharing insights about their culture, the impact of our work on future generations of autistic people, the Namaee staff's takeaways from our collaboration, our team's personal and professional growth, and advice for future SkillCorps travelers. In this episode, discover what's possible when caring is enough to make a difference. Trips for July 2022 have filled up fast. We're still taking applications for travel in October to Saudi Arabia and other partner sites, including Ecuador, Dominican Republic, China, India, Indonesia, Tanzania, Kenya, and Rwanda. Spots are limited, so if you're thinking about applying, now is the time. Sign up today at skillcorps.globalautismproject.org. That's SkillCorps, and use the coupon code AutismPodcast to waive the application fee. And now I present you SkillCorps Team Saudi Arabia. We continued the week doing workshops and training at Namaee.
Yes, yeah, definitely. How can you tell if they like being pushed on the swing or being tickled?
What about when you were playing with the slime in the water? Had you ever done that before? Okay, so what is that? Yeah. So being creative, using materials in a variety of ways.
وين الفيل؟ شعرنا وين الفيل؟ الآن distraction بعدين بنغير وين الفيل؟
One morning, we discussed the starfish story.
For a few moments, she bent down, picked up another starfish, and hurled it as far as she could into the ocean. Then she looked up at the man and replied, "Well, I made a difference to that one." The old man looked at the girl inquisitively and thought about what she had done and said, inspired, he joined the little girl in throwing starfish back into the sea. Soon others joined and all the starfish were saved.
I like that story. I can't remember where I first heard it, but I heard it several years ago, maybe in undergrad or something. And I think, I don't know, project for everyone else, but I think for me, sometimes I feel like if I can't fix everything, what's the point? And a couple years ago, it kind of clicked for me that even if we can't fix everything, there's still work to be done, there's still some progress to be made. Even if we can make a difference in such a small way for one client, like some of the little guys we were working with yesterday, I told the staff, look, she's smiling, she's laughing. I've never seen this kid laugh. I mean, I've only known her for 2 days, but I've never seen her smile. The other day it was just tears all day. She comes in here for 2 hours and just cries. And she probably doesn't just do it here, that's probably other places. So if we can have these few hours a week be enjoyable for her and give her opportunities to interact and socialize, that's adding to her life.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily improving everybody's skills, but the way I look at it too sometimes is improving their quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
I've had parents tell me, the little girl that said, "Hi, Miss Kelly," right before we left. I think about her so much right now. But her parents said she's smiling a lot more, she's laughing a lot more, she's not crying as often, she's not biting, she bites her fingers a lot, she's not doing that as much, her fingers are starting to heal. Just random little things like that even though it's just like in my head, I'm like, that's such a small fraction of what I want to do with this little girl, but it's making such a big impact on her and her family right now. And just based on her behavior, she can't tell us that she's happier, but she is. You can see it. And I think that's, even though she's not where I want her to be yet, she has a better quality of life.
I also think of the impact we have on the therapists here with some of the stuff we've been doing with them. Like, I know how exhausting it is and how burnt out they must feel when they're going into 3 sessions in a row where they don't feel like they have control of things. And so even if like they learn how to work with one of their kids each day a little bit better, then that will like take some burden off of them and allow them to also have the energy for those harder cases and to help figure that out, because it's exhausting. And it's like really disheartening too, I think, when you want to help and you don't know how, or you don't know what you're doing wrong. So I think like to see them smile and then be like, oh, okay, this works. It's really nice.
It reminds me of like just like SkillCorps as a whole. Like, we're coming here making a small difference, and the more people that come here, like the more of a difference we're going to make.
Yeah.
And continue to make.
I really like that poem, and I've read it many times, and I posted it many times. And I've learned, because I worked as a school counselor and as a mental health therapist, and when I first started, it was all about me wanting to save everybody, wanting to save every student, every client. And then I realized like I don't have control over what their parents do or their environment, but I do have control of what I can do, and I can just, what's in my control is to give my best. To give my best. And so that's what we're all here doing, just giving our best, sharing our experience. And I think sometimes we are too hard on ourselves when things are not going right, like the other day, and I felt kind of overwhelmed. But I think we just need to see the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is that eventually it's gonna work out. But right now, like everyone has shared, we're planting the seeds. And then also for the therapists, like the little work that we've been doing, as they've been sharing like they're even surprised with what they're seeing. Because sometimes they become overwhelmed, or sometimes even give up, like there's no progress. And a few of them have shared like, oh wow, they do like things. They do have more reinforcement. They're talking, they're smiling. So that's going to motivate them to continue to try.
And I just want to add to that. Yesterday, after one of my second observation, the mom had waited the whole session, was waiting in the lobby. And I was so happy at the end of the session, so I was like, I'll walk out while we go on my way to the back room. And I was telling the mom, like, she had such a great day. And she goes, no crying. Like, she could hear it herself. And I was like, yeah, like, very, like, in the beginning a little, but, no. And then she said, did she see herself? Like, I mentioned to you all, we were working that receptive, like, her IDing herself. And I said, we didn't work on that. I said, but we called her name, and she looked. And we called her name, and she came to us. And the mom was like, what? Like, just, like, in disbelief. And I was like, she did wonderful. So to see, like, for the mom to know that, like, she's getting there, and that was really cool, Yeah.
So I think it's really apparent right now the impact that you're making on the therapists at Namaee. But take it a step further and think about the impact you're making on each other, just being here, learning from each other, collaborating, going on this 2-week journey with complete strangers, and just being open to every experience that's around the corner. And think about how that will impact your work when you go back home, and the families that you serve, and their communities. It's huge, this ripple effect. And sometimes it's hard to see when you're like in the mix of the sauce. Right now we're like knee deep in the trenches doing our training. But I think I said it earlier this week that sometimes you'll realize something like 6 months later. Like, oh yeah, that was that thing that I learned in SkillCorps. And so there's so much personal growth that affects your professional growth too.
And also building off of what Megan said, SkillCorps is small groups that are a bigger movement, right? So we're throwing one starfish, but when we motivate and inspire other people to join SkillCorps by what we do, now we're all throwing starfish back in, right? So I really like this one. And it also goes with today because we're doing the Instagram takeover, so we have the opportunity to show everything that we're doing and to inspire more people to join SkillCorps and join the movement. So I'm very excited for today.
It's like it all worked out perfectly.
That night, we went out with a few of the Namaee therapists to Riyadh Boulevard, an entertainment center with shops, restaurants, attractions, and more. Imagine Times Square and Universal Studios all in one. We had dinner at a Korean barbecue restaurant. We danced in front of a local DJ. And we asked the therapists more about their culture. Here's Sara, Jumana, and Arwa sharing their thoughts. What do you want people to know about Saudi culture?
I want to make them know about the Muslims.
Okay.
And how we live our life, because it's different, not like India or America or, different culture.
Uh-huh.
I want to know them to know about the foods, Arabic foods.
What is different about Muslims here compared to other cultures?
I think the same. Muslim is the same, but I want to know about Islam because maybe some countries they show the people the Islam in a bad way. So I want them to show we are Muslims. So what?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just that.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, some of them they feel we are live in a desert.
Oh yeah.
So no, look, we have Boulevard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of really cool buildings, and it's turning into a very modern city, like a mix, right?
Yeah.
Modern and traditional.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to tell the world that Saudi Arabia isn't a desert. And we have a high safety standards here. Besides that, when you come here, you will find a lot of places to visit for fun and to know more about our civilization and culture. I want to tell the world as well that we have a community that cares a lot about people, especially who's older than you or younger. So you have to be nice and kind to them. Also respect them a lot. I know there are many stories about abusive family in my country, but there are many of them who give their children respect and freedom. Here people are generous and kind to everyone, even to the stranger. People may think that we are strict and serious community, but no, we are people who love to hang out, do family gatherings, and camp in the desert during winter. That's all what I hope people know about us.
And we will say welcome to everyone to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay. Why are some women wearing different amounts of cover?
This is up to her.
Yeah.
If her want to wear hijab, it's okay. If she want remove abaya, it's okay.
Yeah, but the best thing is wearing hijab. The best things.
النقطة الأساسية إنه الإسلام لازم عباية وحجاب.
First of all, I can't go into deep in matters of the religion because it's a little complicated and I am not a specialist on the subject. But in Islam, our God told us in Quran to cover our faces and wear an abaya to hide it from unknown man, and in public with an abaya that is not attractive in color, which doesn't attract attention in public. And in our current situation, some of them want to cover their face and some of them want to wear the hijab and a colorful abaya. It's their decision. They can decide what they want. Their family respect their decisions. But some families prohibit their daughters to wear hijab and a colorful abaya, so they have to cover the face and wear black abaya. For me, I choose to wear hijab without covering my face, and I am doing this not for my family, but for Allah. And He is the only one who will judge me for wearing it or not wearing it, or the way I am wearing it.
I want to say something. I'm going to make myself like a diamond. No one can see me when they want it. Yeah.
Got it. What do you like to do for fun?
Dance. Go to party with our friends.
Yeah, I like that.
go to camping.
Yeah. For me, dancing, graphing. I like graphing. Go out with my friends. Yeah, hang out.
For me, it's meet friends, eat, and sleep.
And where do you want to travel to?
New York.
Canada.
I want to visit America, of course. My next step is go to America. Inshallah.
All right.
Take me with you.
We'll welcome you when you come.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, ladies. As expected, our last day at Namaee was an emotional roller coaster. We started off the morning with a discussion about the future generations of autistic people. In every deliberation, we must consider the impact of our decisions on the next 7 generations. So the Iroquois people put this into their constitution more than 500 years ago, that leaders must look and listen for the welfare of the people and have always in view not only the present, but also the coming generations. And that the thickness of their skin shall be 7 spans to protect against anger, offensive actions, and criticism from affecting their making the best decisions. And the point of considering 7 generations is to remove individual self-interest from public decision-making. 7 generations is about the longest period of time that we can grasp subjectively. Some of us had great-grandparents when we were born. We've known our grandparents, our parents, and ourselves. We may also know our children, our grandchildren, and possibly our great-grandchildren. These 7 generations are a yardstick of human experience. I'd never thought of that before.
I just blew my mind.
Yeah, that did too. I was like 7. I was actually thinking 7 ahead, which I don't know if that's so self-centered or not. But and I'm like, wait a minute, I knew my great grandparents. Like I get 3 on each side. Like,
Yeah.
I've learned this, I've heard this before, and it's because I've been to places where they grow the really, really big trees that they cut and carve the entire tree to be a canoe. And the process of planting those trees, they're not going to be ready to be made into a canoe until like 7 to 10 generations ahead. So that stuff that these people were doing was not for themselves, it was for the environment and for the people in the future, which is a really interesting mindset.
Yeah.
I learned that when I went to Tofino, actually.
There's a lot of like excellent culture in the Pacific Northwest around that.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so everyone ready? Okay. How about you guys write down how your behavior on this trip may impact future generations of people with autism?
I think that with what I'm doing in my post, I could possibly reach out to people that maybe are not aware of what autism is, and or maybe they do, but they don't really know that there are resources. I'm also reaching out to those that are already in the field, because my old colleagues, and maybe motivate them to join Global Autism Project or something similar, just be more involved or spark curiosity. Yesterday, one of the ladies shared that they asked me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "From Mexico." And I said, "Oh, you're the first Mexican that comes to Namaee." So, just to inspire others.
Yeah.
I can go. I felt like there was kind of 3 separate areas. The first one was kind of in Saudi, having an effect on the community here, talking to that driver yesterday who was interested in it. You were talking to Sarah about community outreach and how to do those sort of things. I mean, I guess I wasn't talking, but I heard about it and was like, yeah. And then us going to that college, there's a lot of little things that our group did that I think would influence the autistic community in Saudi Arabia. And then all of the, Instagram, social media posts and things like that, that's to hopefully encourage other people to join the SkillCorps movement, which will have a larger impact on the community in general. Also, I think my behavior in seeking to understand more about your knowledge and getting the list of podcasts to really expand my understanding of bodily autonomy and what actually autistic people are saying, and making sure that whatever I'm practicing is in alignment with that.
I had some very similar thoughts to Corey. I feel lucky that we've had some of the little interactions that we have with like Saudi residents. I think at first they think we're tourists, and then when we say why we're here, they're like, oh wow, that's, you know, they either don't know much about it, or maybe they do but they don't know anyone with autism. So I think that's cool for like the impact that we're making on the community, people that maybe are a little bit more removed from the autism community. And then I'm actually thinking back to my friend Eliza, who first told me about global autism a couple years ago. And I was thinking, wow, what a cool organization. And then she nominated me and was like, you need to go. And our time working together was so brief. That was just a conversation that just happened in passing as we were working, collaborating with a client. And then now I'm here, and now I'm like, well, why don't I send some of my staff here? And I'm telling my other friends, one of my other friends, her and one of her supervisees are coming on a trip in October. So it's like, I think we underestimate those small interactions and those small conversations and the effect that they can have on people. So I see that happening, you know, and that's just my experience. And then times 6, you know. It's very, very cool.
Yeah. It's like that trickle down effect. You tell one person, they tell 5, and those 5 tell 5 people. Hopefully that's how it goes.
We're not a pyramid scheme.
yeah, we're not a pyramid scheme. It's fair. What I'm hoping is that they'll be more accepted, not just here, but everywhere, and understood, and that they will know that there were people that fought for them and fought for that like bodily autonomy and fought for that understanding their perspective too. Like it wasn't just what we thought would help them, but what they know helps them. And that they will know people love them for exactly who they are. And we're not trying to change them, we're trying to help them. They know that we did our best for them with the information that we had at the time. And that we're constantly adapting as we find out more information about what they do and don't like about ABA in general, how we treat them, how the world views them.
I kind of thought about how, we have a lot of the same things, but also how, in terms of generations to come, I was like, we are like directly having an impact on the current kids that are at the center, right? Like those, we can kind of see that impact. And then we're teaching the people that will eventually teach others, right? And that will get passed on. So in terms of just staff training, like we're building a really strong foundation at Namaee that will hopefully like continue to grow and reach more and more kids over the years and over just like time as they get bigger and more kids come through their doors. And then, yeah, just setting them up for success so that they don't repeat past mistakes that have already been made in other parts of the world. I think that's a really, really exciting opportunity that they have. Yeah, and then I mentioned the acceptance piece here and how far that reaches because of social media and also inspiring others to come.
Yeah, I pretty much want the same thing as everybody else. But I think that for the future, like we are teaching the people who are going to be teaching autistic. So like I think that in the future, like I'm hoping that like autistic adults will feel like ABA is less abusive now that like they're aware of like how autistic adults now feel. And then also just change the way that people view autism, like in the community, like wearing our bags and wearing our jackets just like sparks a lot of questions for people. And I feel like it's like a conversation starter. And actually that's like how I got into SkillCorps because my friend wears her jacket to work and I was like, oh my gosh, what's that? Can you tell me about it? So just like little things like that you don't think like, oh, I'm wearing this, but like, is it gonna spark questions? Is it gonna make people have more awareness? Things like that.
You guys are amazing. Sometimes you can kind of like become overwhelmed at the beginning of the trip, like with all the things to do, all the things to work on that you want to help them with. If you just take a step back and think about the impact that you are making, it's like we talked about yesterday. There's nothing small, right? Think about that mosquito effect. So today is our last day at the center for now. Make it count. I know we're feeling a little bit tired from last night, but in a good way, right? We had an amazing night. with the ladies, even though we were all just like falling over that curve with no deltas, pretty much. So, yeah, let's see how we can be present today for them.
I've already seen like such progress, even in a short time that I've been here. It's incredible.
Great.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're motivated.
They are.
Like
They're like empowered now.
Yeah.
Yes. Great.
Yeah. And empowering Sada, like who's going to be their leader.
Yeah.
She's pumped.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm jealous I don't get to come back in July.
I know.
We closed the workday with the Namaee staff sharing what they had learned from the week's training.
We talked today about focus also on social skills and life skills. Not just focus on with Ryan, please told you that Ryan will get distracted easily.
I just want to say thank you to everyone. And as we've mentioned before earlier in the week, all of you here have such a great foundation of skills. The structure at Namaee, you guys have made so much improvement over the past few years. And we're being very picky and detailed because your foundation is good. So we're just polishing and cleaning up so you can have a more robust, comprehensive program here.
We prefer the tough love.
Yeah.
أقصد تقول إنه أنتم أساسكم المهارات الأساسية عندكم كويسة، وهذا الشيء يساعدهم على أنهم يكونوا أكثر دقة وتحديدا ويعني وضوحا معكم، لأن الأساس عندكم كويس. يعني هذا الشيء يساعدهم أن يكونوا أكثر دقة. فمجرد يعني إضافات وتعديلات، بس في الحقيقة إحنا ما زلنا نحتاج كثير. Yes.
But something we talk about, I'm getting emotional. Something we talk about like every day when we go back to the hotel is how inspired we are.
يتكلم عن إذا أي حد كل يوم لما يرجع الفندق إذا أي حد هم ملهمين من يعني يستلهمون منكم.
Yeah. I can't do it. Well, I just want to say, part of the foundation is the passion and the drive that you have for your students and your families. Can you read this one in Arabic?
Okay.
I really like the inspirational quotes.
لكي تصنع أثر في حياة شخص مو لازم تكون غني أو شديد الذكاء أو كامل، فقط يكفي أن تكون مهتما. Yeah.
It's the one in English for you guys. To make an impact on someone else's life, you don't have to be rich, brilliant, or perfect. You just have to care. So we have learned so much from you guys about teamwork, collaboration.
It makes me cry too.
So thank you for opening your hearts to us and welcoming us.
Yeah. We have this conversation at the beginning when you were saying, "Oh, that's too much. You don't have to do this, that." This is how we look at you, or some of us. You're a group of crazy people. You cross the world. You risk your lives, and you travel like half the world to a country you haven't been there before, to help someone or some people that you don't know before, so they can help some kids. You and them, they didn't know these kids before. So it's one of the few moments in this time of humanity that you can believe in something called humanity. Because, I'm sorry, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for people to leave their regular house, regular life, and travel across the world just to help someone they don't know before. That's absolutely crazy. And that's why we think that whatever, guys, we do for you, it's nothing like literally. It's not just like being hospitable. No, it's something different. You guys operate in a different level. Like, this is life, and you guys do, because that's not normal. Yeah, that's something I needed you guys to know. You operate on a different level, so we need to be treating you on a different level. And we made like 1% of what you guys deserve, but we will be better the next.
You said it's gluten.
Absolutely nothing. So thank you won't be enough. Sometimes it's inappropriate to say thank you when you know that thank you is not even near enough. But it was our pleasure to have you guys. And Hanan and the team has a little something to thank you and for you to remember us in the next few years. So I call Hanan.
You guys. Thank you so much. I had such a blast with you guys. Yeah. This has been the coolest thing that I've ever done. We love you guys.
You're the best.
Yes.
Whoa.
Simple gift from the
Oh my gosh. What? Thank you.
Okay, my card.
Your names are written in Arabic.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never seen my name in Arabic before.
We have something for you all. We should have put it in the box. We wrote you a nice message, and we can, I'll read it, and then we can pass it around. Thank you, you all, for your generous hospitality, for letting us work with you. You're all amazing. It's been such a pleasure. We've had so much fun growing with you, and we're grateful for the experience. We cannot wait to come back, or for you all to come to the U.S. and visit us.
And Canada. At the end of the night, we partied with the therapists, enjoying cake, various desserts made with dates, and, of course, an endless pot of Arabic coffee. After having spent the previous week collaborating and getting to know each other, it was hard for all of us to say goodbye.
What's the best thing you like in area?
Namaee.
Yeah,
thank you.
Shukran. Later that night, we headed to our weekend excursion in the desert of Al Ghat, an old heritage village a few hours northwest of Riyadh. Over breakfast the next morning, I asked the team to share how they thought they had grown professionally and personally over the previous 2 weeks. Now that we've finished our work at Namaee, what would you guys say are some areas that you've grown personally and professionally? So how have you grown professionally?
I think I really like training, but I definitely, compared to the model we used, I do a lot more modeling. And I think I've seen how much more helpful it is to use the Socratic method, like, really heavily. I think I tend to use it with my more experienced RBTs and not the new ones, because I think they need more help, and there's no reason why I think that. Just assume, I think. So to not assume that they can't get to the answer by questioning. Like, I don't have to tell them. So I think I'm going to change that. Because I think it is more sustainable, much more sustainable to do it that way. Because that's how my grad supervisors did it with me. And I really appreciated that.
Great. You're really good at it, too. You do it very naturally.
Thanks.
Sorry.
No, I just said halas.
I think professionally, I'm kind of excited to go home and have a conversation with my director, is also like a friend of mine, and she like created this role for me so I could keep working in the field while like going back to school and stuff like that. But I kind of want to expand my role with them to see if I can do more, whether it's like, hey, do we have a budget to maybe do some community outreach in our, town or things like that, because it's still not great in Albuquerque. Like, ABA services and the wait lists are incredibly long, or like people don't understand what it is. And I'm still meeting parents who have no idea what autism is. They just have a diagnosis and they don't know what to do. And so I'm like kind of motivated by this whole experience to see like what more I can do outside of just being a clinical supervisor within the community with my DCBA, and like going down those avenues with her and seeing what this company and what I can do.
Cool.
I'll go next because mine is similar to that. In Georgia, they only recently passed laws, I think it was 2018, to mandate insurance companies to pay for ABA services. So it's still very new. And in the rural areas, services are still limited. And my approach has been, just worry about like my team, worry about my kind of like my crew, my company, keep my head down, keep servicing our kids, and the community will feel it, right? There'll be that ripple effect. But after going on this trip, I realized like, that's so wrong. Like, I need to do more, not just for awareness, but for acceptance, and get more community involvement and ownership over this population, and so that there'll be more opportunities for our learners when they become adults. And we've done a little bit of that for our young adult clients, but that's just 1 or 2 students. Like, how much more of an impact can we have if we approach other small business owners and say, hey, there's this whole young population coming up who need a place in our community. So I definitely want to kind of explore that and do that a bit more.
I think for me, similar to Kelly, I'm familiar with Socratic questioning, but I've used it more like in therapy, like in mental health. But I never thought of using it in ABA, and maybe I do use it a little bit more with the program supervisors, because I know that, like Kelly shared, like I know they know the answer. So I can say, well, what can we do? And I know, but with therapists, and also because unfortunately, we don't really provide training to therapists like formally. It's just usually like in home. So we don't have the time, or I feel like there's no time while the kid is there to, well, what do you think you should do? Especially like yesterday, like when we were working with Sada, it took a while. And so it's just faster to model. Like, okay, this is how you can do it. Model, and then, have the therapist try it, and it's just faster. So I need to think of a way where I can use that strategy, but at the same time not spend too much time, because then we're taking time away from working directly with the client. But it's definitely something that I would like to use more with the therapist when I do go in person.
Mm-hmm. And parents too.
And parents.
Yeah. It's really effective. It does take longer, but I think the long-term effect is more sustainable. And I think also there's something about like empowerment in them saying it, like it's coming out of their mouths. There's a sweet spot of not pushing too hard to the point of them getting frustrated because they can't get it. And like recognizing, okay, maybe this is a knowledge deficit. I should actually teach this. But you can still find ways around. I saw a lot of forced choice with Socratic questioning that you guys were doing, which still works, right? Or fill in the blanks. Yeah.
I'll go. I think before this trip, I haven't been in the field too long, and I've only worked at like one place. So the amount of exposure I've had to other people in the field has been quite limited. So I was really scared. I was really nervous to interact with other BCBAs, first of all, because other than like the 2 that I work with, that's the only ones I like know really, really well. And I've been kind of nervous about like what comes next for me professionally, because I'm so scared that I'm gonna go somewhere else. And like there's a lot of imposter syndrome. Like I do really well with the systems that we have in place at my work and how we do things. But what if I go somewhere else and I like don't know what I'm doing? So I felt like I gained a lot of confidence here, because it was nice to collaborate and hear what other people had to say and be like, oh, I was thinking the same thing, or I know the same thing. So for me, it's a little bit more of like a personal professional growth rather than what am I going to do when I get back home. But yeah, so I'm feeling like a lot more confident in my abilities and stuff. So.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I feel the same, like how you were nervous about other BCBAs. I think I was really nervous for that, and I think the Socratic questioning can really work when my BCBAs are telling me things, because they tend to just talk at us and tell us what to do and never kind of watch to see if that goes well or anything. So I think asking them questions and things like that will really help in my job now. And I've also just learned a lot from all of you guys.
Megan, I've been like so impressed by you this whole trip. Like you've been keeping up. Like if you feel like, I'm intimidated, all these BCBAs, like that should be the furthest thing from your mind. You've been like just shining, and like you leading the training and seeing you with the other therapists and how helpful you are, and I feel like they can relate to you. Like you've been such an asset to our team. It's been really great to have you.
You didn't even know till
Didn't even know.
Yeah,
SBA.
Wait, you're not?
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
All right, how have you grown personally?
Do you want to go for professionally? Or you wanted to focus on us?
No. I've been growing professionally. Good.
I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk if you felt like you have.
So professionally, this kind of goes back to what I was saying yesterday, about my delta from the other night with leading teams and stuff. Unfortunately, I don't have that direct contact with families and children right now, so this is kind of what I think of when I think professionally. But yeah, I think just learning more about that balance between alignment and autonomy. So being able to read if people are maybe feeling a certain way but not wanting to speak up, or like when it comes to making group decisions and stuff. So it's a learning process, right? And everyone is different. Every team is different. And the team dynamics also change over time. So that's also something to kind of pay attention to. Maybe that's an area where I feel like with more and more practice, I feel more comfortable doing it. Thanks, Corey. All right, how have you guys grown personally?
I'll go first. I feel like I'm usually not confident or like one to go first. But I feel like over this trip, that has changed. I feel like a lot more confident in myself.
Yeah, that was the Who Can You Be, right? Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I'm going to piggyback off of that because that's kind of how I feel too. The weirdest thing is that I typically get nervous when I have to speak in front of people, even if it's people I know or don't know. You know, there's always just that whatever, especially if you don't have like a memorized script, put it that way. But I didn't feel nervous at all when I was up there talking, and that surprised me. I was like, oh, maybe I do know what I'm talking about. Like I still have that, as I'm sure a lot of us do, that, you know, imposter syndrome dude still sitting there sometimes. But I think I just got a little bit more confident to know, okay, like I can be that mosquito.
Yeah. And the imposter syndrome dude never goes away.
No, yeah, I've heard that.
So it's more about like, what are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
How long are you going to listen to him?
Mm-hmm. Well, and then leaning into the like uncomfortableness of certain things too. I've been texting that with my like friends and family, where I'm like the first couple of days, like all the stares we were getting, I was like, it's really uncomfortable, but I'm leaning into it because I know it's curiosity. It's not like I don't know, you know, like whatever. Like I've stared before too. Who hasn't? Leaning into that, you know, the cultural aspect of the uncomfortableness and language barriers and all of the hiccups we've had, and just I haven't gotten upset once. Knock on wood, which is cool.
Nice. All right.
For me, also, just learning that it's okay just to go with the flow. I usually do when it comes to like working with a team, but when it comes to like me, for example, like presenting, then I, like I shared before, I just overthink it, I overplan it, and now I just feel comfortable, like, you know, it's okay to just do it, especially if it's something that you enjoy doing, because that goes into other areas of my life that I stop myself from doing because of, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if I freeze? What if I get stuck? What if? And so that has prevented me from doing many things. So this has been a great experience because I was able to do it in front of peers, and that could be a little bit scary, you know, because what if they think this? What if they judge me, etc.? But I didn't at all. That didn't cross my mind at all. And then, like Kelly, I wasn't nervous. I usually get very nervous when I present in front of people, but I wasn't. So that was a good feeling.
Yeah, you did great too.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're a natural at presenting.
Many years ago, it's so funny, but I wanted to make more money because I was planning my daughter's quinceañera. And so I was like, I need money. How can I make more money? And so I talked to my supervisor and I asked if there was any other job that I can apply for. And she's like, well, we just received a grant, but you need to have a master's in the mental health field. And I was a school counselor, but school counseling falls more under education. So she's like, well, let me talk to someone. So I had experience working with kids and kids at risk. So I had the experience. I just didn't have the title or the education. So I got it. And the grant was doing early intervention, so going into the classroom and presenting using the curriculum called Incredible Years. I use as puppets. And I'm an introvert, I'm shy, and I had to present. It wasn't presenting in front of kids, but using a puppet as child-sized puppet to teach about social emotional learning. Oh my gosh, that's when my anxiety, that's when I learned what anxiety was. I couldn't sleep, I had insomnia, because, it's just kids, but the teacher was going to be there. So I've done a lot of presentations because we had to do like 30 presentations per week. Wow. And then as a school counselor, even after I didn't use puppets, a lot of it is going into the classroom and presenting. So I've done tons of presentations, but I still get nervous. It's like something that I haven't been able to overcome until now.
Yeah, and if in the future you get nervous again, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's like, it just means you're pushing yourself. Those upper limit. Did you guys talk about upper limit problems in orientation? Maybe it's leadership academy thing. Like, whenever you're pushing yourself or trying to improve yourself, it's natural to hit a wall or a ceiling, and then suddenly things start falling out of place. And that's normal. You just have to remember there's another breakthrough on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll go next. In the past, I've been one to get stuck on thoughts and perseverate, and especially when I'm traveling, the little twinge of homesickness can get me into a bit of a spiral. So, usually I have a big cry a week into a trip or not even. And I've been fine on this trip. And I think part of that is leading up to the trip, I was doing a lot of ACT training and leadership academy. And I was already trying to put a lot of those skills into practice at home. And then coming here, it really was a lot of challenges thrown at me. So it's been really cool to be able to use all those skills that I had learned in the weeks leading up and try them. And I've had such a better time than I thought I was going to. And I haven't been upset, kind of like what Kelly said, and I haven't had any major anxiety spirals or anything. So it's been a really good challenge, but it makes me feel when I go home, the little things that I face at home are going to be a breeze compared to this.
It kind of reminds me of something that happened after the pandemic hit. A lot of SkillCorps alum were like, whatever, I can handle this. I'm used to not knowing what's next and being flexible. So yeah, it transfers over into other areas.
Some similar thoughts to Shannon. Last year, after I did a leadership training in March, I worked a lot on self-confidence. In the past, I've been very self-critical, and I'll kind of perseverate on things, how I handled something, interactions, and this constant need to for perfection or what's perfect for me. And I feel the first few days of the trip were a breeze. The stuff at the airport, logistical things, that's a strong suit of mine, so I felt great. And then once we got here and things kind of slowed down a bit, I was I kind of fell back into a lot of those habits. And I had a really rough time a couple days last week. And as I was reflecting and journaling, I was kind of analyzing what did I miss here? What kind of tools do I have available to me that I'm not using So it was a great practice opportunity learning opportunity for me to recognize kind of what elements were missing that I need. And then also like not having any constants, any regular things that I have in my normal life, my life back home available to me. It was kind of like I was pushed even further into that like mess, and I just like kind of leaned into it and was like, okay, we're going to handle it little by little and just take it moment by moment. And yeah, so I mean, obviously I'm here, I'm fine, I survived, but it was good. I hadn't been challenged like that, and I think I was surprised. It like kind of took me by surprise how like knocked off I was from my normal like feeling of stability and being grounded. So yeah.
Great. I would say I've been like thinking about in the future like leading my own team for SkillCorps, and I think coming to this I was nervous if I would be able to do that like successfully and confidently. It's been a long time since I've led a group of very like strong, powerful women, which is like what SkillCorps is, and whether I would be someone that could do it but just like being able to watch you and seeing everyone else just work together, like yes, you're a leader, but it's still like such a team effort, and it's like I don't think I would have to worry about being a leader. You're just a team member, right? And when I looked at it that way, it gave me a lot more confidence of I just have to be a good team member, and that's what being a leader is. And like it's like that lazy leadering, like you're letting them do the work and you're just, I don't know. I just changed my perception of what a leader is, I guess. It's like you're not the person in front, you're the person almost behind, and like making sure everyone is, doing their best. And that was a really cool like change in perspective for me.
Nice. My left?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when we were at orientation, my who can I be was someone balanced, right? And I was trying to focus on how I can take care of myself so that I can support you guys. I think because I suffer from FOMO sometimes and I just want to always be in the mix of things and like listening, it was interesting to find ways that I can step back. So, for example, not needing to be at breakfast every morning and like having that extra 30 minutes to myself to just take my time really, really helped. Whereas maybe before in the past, I would have gotten up a little bit early so I can be there. And like Corey, one day you were like, "Oh, we're having great conversations at breakfast." I was like, "What? I didn't do that." I was like, "No, it's okay. All right, just you don't have to be there." So that's been great to kind of let go of. I like control too, so just knowing that I have that tool to just be more flexible with things.
I want to say something about you as a leader too. Obviously didn't know you before this trip, but I've been in contact with GAP for a couple years now through my last job. We worked with them a lot for like twice a week for like a year. And when I envisioned what our leader was going to be like, it was somebody who was maybe like loud, a little domineering, a little like, I don't know. It just like, and you were like the total opposite of that. And like, it just made Corey made me think about it. Like, you let us lead, but you guided. And you're very calm and very collected and very like, go with the flow. And I just feel like that's what a leader is. It's not somebody who's telling you what to do. It's not somebody who raises their voice. It's not somebody who is quick to make decisions and judgments. It's somebody who kind of sits back and observes and like empowers the people around you. And so thank you for that.
Thank you.
It was very nice to have you.
I feel very grateful that
and I feel very comfortable around you. And I was concerned about that. I don't know.
Yeah. I think had you not had that demeanor, that personality, I don't know if this trip would have been as easy for me.
Good. Well, we all play a part here, right? We are all part of that dynamic. So it's that butterfly effect. But this has been great. Like, you guys are awesome. I could do this like every month.
It's planned.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do it.
That'd be so cool.
That
We
would
could
be
just
really cool.
go to all the sites together.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
I also think it's interesting because like it's everyone's for y'all's like only perspective, it's your only SkillCorps team. And I don't think it's like our room, but the opposite. Like we didn't know how bad it was because we didn't know how good the other rooms. I don't think y'all realize how good this is. Yeah. Because this is an amazing team and this is an amazing experience. And like everyone here was just so flexible, so supportive, so easygoing. And like, even though we all had our own personal struggles, we used the tools we were given to try to work through them and still be a good team member. Like, wow. Everyone here was amazing.
Yeah. We spent the rest of the day visiting a bird sanctuary, seeing ruins of the old village, touring a date farm, running down sandhills in the middle of the desert, and sitting around a campfire. Our last activity as a whole group was an old favorite of mine when it comes to SkillCorps trips. So think about how this trip has filled you. Maybe there was something missing in your life before, and we've all contributed to this filling of this cup. So I'd like you to thank someone here for anything. Maybe it was something they said or did that inspired you, or just their way of being the past couple weeks. And you're gonna give them your cup as a gratitude.
I want to thank Amber for being vulnerable and, just opening up to me and sharing some personal things.
I want to thank Megan. You've taught me, kind of reminding me of when I was in your shoes, and taught me that it's okay to...
I want to thank Kelly. I just feel like during the whole trip you really were checking on me, and then food-wise too.
I want to thank Araceli. I want to thank you for being vulnerable the very first day and sharing with us the courage that you had.
I want to thank you for making this whole trip feel very cohesive. You're a wonderful leader and definitely have skills that I aspire to hopefully have.
I want to shank. I want to shank Thannon. I want to thank Shannon. It's been really fun to hang out, and thank you for all the random facts. And always.
So I thank Corey. I think you were such a great secondary leader to this team, and you really helped us.
Time and again, our SkillCorps alumni have expressed the extent to which this experience has transformed their lives, including their personal relationships. Here's this team's advice to future SkillCorps travelers.
My advice to future SkillCorps travelers would be to let go of your preconceived notions of who you think you are, whether that's thinking you're a leader or a follower, what your strengths and weaknesses are, your fears. Because when you do, the potential of your trip really opens up, and you'll achieve so much, and you'll learn so much about yourself and about what you're capable of.
My advice to future travelers would just be to go into the trip with an open mind and be open to learn, be open to grow, and be open to share.
It was a privilege working with the organization, starting from the professional development that we received prior to leaving for our trip. It helped to prepare me to work with my team in country. There's also a lot that I took away that I'm applying at my own company and in leading our staff. For anyone who's considering or planning to travel with SkillCorps, I would first say enter the experience with an open mind and an open heart. Everyone at the organization is amazing. The partner sites are so appreciative and excited to learn from us. So entering with the intent to be influenced and with an open mind is critical. There is clinical growth, professional growth, and personal growth that happens. And a big part of that is the mindset and attitude that you bring to the trip.
Any future traveler should be open-minded, flexible, and eager to make a difference. Lean into everything you experience, both within the clinics and outside of the clinics. Go into it with your whole heart, and you will get so much more out of it than you ever thought possible.
If you're also curious and eager to do more for the autism community and for personal and career growth, I highly encourage you to travel with the Global Autism Project.
My advice for future travelers is to keep an open mind and to travel with no preconceived notions of what your experience will be like.
And last but not least, listen to our partner Yasser's takeaways from the SkillCorps trip.
We were so fortunate to work with an amazing SkillCorps team in the past few weeks. In less than 2 weeks, we had great opportunities to learn from them. They taught us about some essential clinical procedures that would help us make sure that we are delivering a high quality that our clients deserved. We also learned from them how to incorporate different perspectives and point of views when dealing with our clients. They also taught us a very important thing, the mindset that we need to understand, to plan, and to work with our clients. It's about analyzing, understanding, trying to step back a little bit and try to understand as much as you can before you jump into plans and procedures. And a very important thing, they taught us about how being compassionate would change the way you perceive your client, his needs, his struggles, and his strength, and also would help you change the way you work with your clients. And for those who are thinking of traveling to Saudi Arabia, we are looking forward to meet you. And a little piece of advice, get ready for a different experience, a different culture, a different society with different standards and norms. At the same time, get ready for a different version of yourself. Because, and I promise you this, you will never be the same person after you visiting us.
I hope you enjoyed going on this journey with Team Saudi Arabia. While each team and trip is different, you might now be able to imagine what it would be like to travel with SkillCorps. If you're a self-advocate or professional in the field of autism services, you would be a great asset to our movement. Again, applications for trips in October are still open, but only for a limited time. Sign up today at skillcorps.globalautismproject.org and use the coupon code AutismPodcast to waive the application fee. Thanks for listening. Take care. Tune in each week for engaging conversations of how people across the globe are inspiring change and building community.
You've been listening to Autism Knows No Borders, brought to you by the Global Autism Project. You can find Rachel's notes for this episode and learn more about today's guests at autismknowsnoborders.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please kindly rate the show and leave a review. By doing so, you'll be helping us increase awareness and acceptance of autism around the world.